Imagine waking up in a country where your entire identity, passport, bank access, and medical records fits into one secure digital app. Sounds futuristic? It's happening right now in the UK. The digital ID rollout is transforming how every citizen will prove who they are, access services, and interact with the government. Supporters call it a breakthrough for convenience and security, while critics warn it could open the door to surveillance and exclusion. This is more than just a policy change, it's a digital revolution that could redefine what it means to be a UK resident in the modern age. Number 1. Streamlined access to public services. The introduction of the UK's digital ID system promises to revolutionize how citizens access public services. Traditionally, applying for benefits, healthcare, or government support required multiple physical documents, such as passports, bills, or birth certificates. With the new digital framework, all this information will be consolidated into one secure digital profile. This system, backed by research from the UK Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, aims to reduce administrative delays by up to 40%. The goal is to simplify daily life, allowing residents to verify their identity within seconds rather than days. Such accessibility is expected to make service delivery more efficient, transparent, and user-friendly, particularly for those managing multiple government interactions. A digital identity also allows the government to coordinate across departments with greater precision. Instead of repeatedly requesting the same verification data, agencies can securely authenticate a user through a single, encrypted process. This interconnected approach minimizes data duplication and reduces errors in public records. Studies from the London School of Economics highlight that systems built on verified digital credentials have already increased processing speeds in comparable European projects. For example, Estonia's digital ID model has demonstrated how digital governance can accelerate service delivery while reducing operational costs. If implemented effectively, the UK's framework could follow a similar path, turning bureaucratic friction into seamless efficiency. Yet, convenience comes with new expectations for data handling and accountability. Experts from the University of Oxford emphasize that accessibility must not compromise data privacy or security. Each user's information will need to be encrypted and stored locally, ensuring it cannot be accessed without authorization. Proper regulation and regular audits will be essential to maintain reliability and prevent misuse. The rollout also intends to include multi-factor verification to safeguard against identity theft. Ultimately, this streamlined digital approach has the potential to redefine how UK residents interact with essential services, transforming a once fragmented process into a faster, smarter, and more cohesive system, one where access to healthcare, benefits, and education becomes as simple as a single digital confirmation. Number 2. Fighting identity fraud. The rise of identity fraud in the UK has become a major concern, with government data showing a steady increase in digital impersonation and document forgery over the past decade. The upcoming digital ID rollout aims to tackle this challenge head-on by creating a single, verified identity that is difficult to replicate or manipulate. Each digital identity will use cryptographic technology to verify authenticity without exposing unnecessary personal details. This means that when someone proves who they are online, they reveal only the essential information required, nothing more. Research from the National Cybersecurity Centre suggests that systems using decentralized encryption reduce fraudulent activity by over 60% when properly implemented. The new digital framework seeks to close loopholes that criminals exploit in the traditional paper-based system. The technology behind the scheme combines biometric verification, such as facial or fingerprint recognition, with advanced encryption. These methods create multiple layers of protection, ensuring that even if one layer is compromised, the others remain intact. For example, if a digital ID is lost or stolen, it can be immediately revoked and reissued, unlike a passport or driver's license that can take weeks to replace. According to cybersecurity analysts from the University of Cambridge, revocable digital credentials dramatically reduce the long-term impact of identity theft. Moreover, businesses will be able to verify customer identity instantly, limiting opportunities for fraudulent credit applications and false benefit claims. This shift represents a proactive step in securing both personal data and national systems from evolving cyber threats. However, preventing fraud is not only about technology, it also requires clear oversight and continuous monitoring. Experts emphasize that without transparent governance, even the most advanced security tools can be misused or neglected. Regular audits, independent regulation, and strict penalties for data misuse will be vital to maintaining credibility. The government plans to introduce dedicated oversight bodies to ensure compliance and public accountability. If executed effectively, the UK's digital ID system could set a new global benchmark for digital security, creating an identity infrastructure that is not just convenient, but resilient, adaptive, and built to protect citizens from one of the fastest-growing crimes of the digital era. Number 3. Tighter right-to-work checks and illegal work deterrence. One of the central motivations behind the UK's digital ID rollout is to strengthen the process of verifying an individual's right to work. Under the current system, employers manually inspect physical documents such as passports or residence permits, which are susceptible to forgery. With the new digital identity system, these checks will be conducted electronically through verified credentials issued by the government. Each citizen or legal resident will hold a secure digital profile that confirms their eligibility to work. Studies from the Migration Policy Institute reveal that digitized verification reduces administrative errors by up to 70%, while providing a faster onboarding process for employers. This transition is designed not only to increase efficiency, but also to eliminate loopholes that allow fraudulent employment, ensuring that workplaces remain compliant with UK immigration and labour laws. The system will also act as a deterrent to illegal employment networks that rely on counterfeit documentation. By linking verified digital identities directly to official databases, it becomes nearly impossible to falsify a right-to-work status. Employers will receive real-time confirmation of a candidate's eligibility, reducing the risk of unintentional violations and penalties. Research from the University of Manchester indicates that real-time verification systems can cut down illegal hiring by over half within the first 2 years of implementation. Furthermore, this approach provides better protection for legitimate workers who may otherwise be displaced or exploited by unverified labor. With faster verification, job seekers can begin new roles more quickly, and businesses can avoid costly compliance delays. The integration of biometric features adds another layer of assurance, verifying both identity and authenticity at the same time. However, this measure also raises social and ethical considerations. Civil rights groups warn that tighter digital checks must not evolve into discriminatory screening or unnecessary surveillance of migrant communities. Maintaining a balance between enforcement and fairness will be crucial. Oversight agencies will need to ensure that data access remains limited strictly to employment verification and not extended to unrelated monitoring activities. When implemented responsibly, this new digital framework could modernize the labor market, fostering transparency, safeguarding legitimate workers, and reinforcing confidence in the UK's employment verification system. Number 4. Reducing paperwork, speed, and efficiency. The digital ID rollout is set to dramatically reduce the mountains of paperwork that have long burdened both citizens and government offices. At present, applying for benefits, healthcare registration, or housing assistance often requires multiple physical forms and repeated verification of identity. The new digital system eliminates that redundancy by allowing users to authenticate themselves instantly across departments. A single verified profile replaces piles of paper forms, cutting administrative time and processing costs. Research from the Institute for Government indicates that digital identity systems can reduce overall service processing times by nearly 45%, freeing up staff to focus on more complex cases. For citizens, this shift means fewer queues, faster results, and a simpler interaction with public institutions. Every key document from tax records to health data can be linked securely under one digital umbrella, making the experience smoother and more transparent. This transformation is not limited to public services. Private organizations will also benefit from streamlined verification. Banks, telecom providers, and educational institutions can use verified digital IDs to speed up onboarding or account creation, reducing manual errors and delays. According to a 2025 report by the University of Warwick, businesses that adopted early digital ID verification experienced up to a 60% improvement in processing efficiency. The economic benefit is twofold: faster service delivery and lower operational costs. The government strategy also emphasizes environmental responsibility, as reduced reliance on paper contributes to sustainability goals by cutting down waste and printing emissions. For individuals managing multiple bureaucratic processes, the convenience of a centralized identity system is expected to redefine how routine tasks, such as applying for loans, university, placements, or healthcare, are completed. Yet, efficiency must be balanced with accessibility and accountability. Critics caution that automating too many services could alienate people without digital literacy or reliable internet access. The government plans to implement local support centers to assist those unable to navigate online systems independently. Periodic audits and user feedback loops will also be necessary to maintain reliability and responsiveness. If managed effectively, the digital ID system could become a cornerstone of modern governance, combining speed, precision, and user-centered efficiency to create a more connected and capable public service infrastructure. Number 5. Better data control and ability to update. One of the most promising aspects of the digital ID rollout is the empowerment it gives individuals over their personal data. In traditional systems, citizens have little control once their information is shared with different agencies. Paper documents and outdated databases make it difficult to track who holds what data and for what purpose. With a digital identity framework, users will have greater oversight and can choose what information to share, when, and with whom. Each data transaction will leave an encrypted trail, allowing individuals to monitor how their credentials are being used. According to a 2025 report from the Alan Turing Institute, decentralized identity systems can increase personal data control by up to 70% compared to conventional storage methods. This means users will be able to approve, revoke, or limit access to their information directly through a secure app interface, giving real autonomy over digital footprints. Updating personal information will also become far more efficient. Instead of submitting multiple forms across departments, users can edit their digital profiles in one place, automatically synchronizing changes with authorized systems. For instance, when someone changes their address or legal name, those updates will cascade securely through all relevant databases. Research from the University of Edinburgh shows that such systems can cut administrative correction delays by almost half, significantly improving service responsiveness. This continuous update capability will also help government agencies maintain accurate records, minimizing errors that can cause delays in tax returns, healthcare access, or voting registration. By streamlining updates, the digital ID will reduce bureaucratic bottlenecks while improving data reliability nationwide. However, the ability to control data effectively depends on transparent regulations and robust safeguards. Privacy experts emphasize that individuals must be clearly informed about how their information is stored, processed, and shared. The Information Commissioner's Office will need to enforce strict data protection standards, ensuring user consent is always central. Multi-layer encryption and biometric authentication will further protect profiles from unauthorized access. By shifting the balance of power towards citizens, this system marks a significant step toward a fairer digital future, one where convenience aligns with accountability, and individuals finally gain meaningful control over their personal data. Number 6. Strong security and encryption, but it's not perfect. Security is the backbone of the digital ID rollout, and the UK government has emphasized that the system will rely on state-of-the-art encryption to protect personal data. Each identity credential will be stored locally on a user's device, locked behind biometric verification, such as facial or fingerprint recognition. This approach minimizes centralized storage risks while keeping sensitive information under personal control. Research from the National Cybersecurity Center in 2025 highlights that decentralized identity systems reduce data breach vulnerability by up to 65% compared to older centralized databases. Every transaction made with a digital ID will be encrypted end-to-end, ensuring that no intermediary can intercept or manipulate it. These protections are designed to reassure citizens that their data will remain confidential even during digital exchanges across government platforms or private services. Despite these safeguards, experts caution that no system is entirely invulnerable. Large-scale digital identity programs create attractive targets for hackers, particularly if system updates or third-party integrations are not managed carefully. Studies from the University of Oxford's Cybersecurity Institute suggest that 80% of breaches occur due to weak endpoint protection, rather than flaws in encryption itself. This means that even though the digital ID architecture might be secure, risks could emerge from stolen devices, phishing attacks, or social engineering tactics aimed at obtaining login credentials. Cybersecurity specialists recommend continuous monitoring, rapid patching of vulnerabilities, and rigorous staff training to maintain integrity. A responsive cybersecurity infrastructure must evolve alongside the system, adapting to new forms of attack as technology advances. Transparency and accountability will also play crucial roles in maintaining credibility. Citizens need assurance that any breach or attempted intrusion will be disclosed promptly and handled with strict legal oversight. Independent audits, mandatory security assessments, and public reporting can build confidence in how digital IDs are protected. Security experts also suggest integrating real-time breach alerts and automated credential revocation to limit potential damage. While encryption makes the system significantly safer than physical documentation, vigilance and governance must remain constant. The success of the digital ID will depend not only on its cryptographic strength, but also on the nation's collective commitment to cyber resilience and responsible data stewardship. Number 7. Risk of surveillance, mission creep, and oversight weakness. While the digital ID rollout aims to modernize identification and improve security, it also raises pressing concerns about how the collected data might be used in the long term. Experts refer to this as mission creep, when a system designed for one purpose gradually expands into others without proper oversight. For example, a digital ID initially intended for verifying employment or accessing healthcare could later be linked to policing, tax enforcement, or even commercial tracking. Research from the London School of Economics warns that such gradual expansion often occurs quietly, making it difficult for citizens to recognize how their personal data is being repurposed. Critics argue that without firm legal boundaries, the system could blur the line between convenience and surveillance. This concern is magnified by the growing integration of biometric data, which, once collected, can be used for facial recognition across multiple contexts. Oversight remains one of the biggest challenges in preventing misuse. Strong governance is required to ensure that government departments and private entities do not exploit digital IDs beyond their intended scope. Reports from the UK Information Commissioner's Office emphasise that continuous monitoring, transparent audit trails, and independent data regulators are vital to maintaining accountability. However, the success of these safeguards depends on whether enforcement bodies have real authority and resources to act against violations. A 2025 study by the University of Bristol found that weak oversight frameworks often lead to inconsistent privacy protection, particularly when data sharing occurs across different agencies. Without proper control, citizens may have little visibility into how their information circulates or which organizations have access to it. This opacity could gradually erode public confidence in the entire system. Balancing innovation with liberty requires thoughtful policy design. Experts recommend clear data minimization principles, only collecting what is necessary, for as long as necessary, and mandatory transparency reports detailing how identities are used. Public engagement and parliamentary review can further help prevent overreach. The goal should be to build a digital infrastructure that enhances efficiency without compromising civil rights. Achieving this balance will determine whether the digital ID becomes a tool for empowerment or a gateway to unwarranted surveillance, shaping how freedom and privacy coexist in the UK's digital future. Number 8. Digital exclusion and impact on marginalized groups. The digital ID rollout promises convenience and modernization, yet it risks leaving behind some of the very people it intends to help. Digital exclusion remains a significant issue in the UK, where millions still lack regular internet access or digital literacy skills. According to the Office for National Statistics, around 5.3 million adults in the UK are non-internet users as of 2025, with older citizens, low-income households, and people with disabilities disproportionately affected. For these groups, a system that assumes constant digital access could create barriers rather than remove them. Studies from the University of Glasgow highlight that when digital verification becomes the default option, those without smartphones or stable connectivity face longer delays or even exclusion from essential services. If physical alternatives are phased out too quickly, it could deepen social inequalities and erode the principle of equal access to public resources. The challenge extends beyond access to technology. Many vulnerable individuals, including refugees and people experiencing homelessness, lack the formal documents required to establish a verified digital identity in the first place. This could prevent them from accessing healthcare, housing, or welfare programs, areas where support is most needed. Research by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation warns that digital identity schemes often replicate existing social disparities if not designed with inclusivity in mind. To mitigate this, experts advocate for hybrid systems that allow both digital and physical verification options, along with community outreach programs to provide training and equipment. Public libraries, local councils, and charities could play a vital role in bridging the digital divide by offering hands-on support and education. Inclusivity also depends on design. Accessibility features such as voice-assisted navigation, simplified interfaces, and multilingual support must be integrated from the start, not added later as an afterthought. The government has pledged to run pilot programs to test usability across diverse demographics, but success will depend on sustained commitment and adequate funding. True modernization means ensuring no one is excluded from essential rights because of their digital capabilities. A fair digital identity system should empower all residents, urban or rural, connected or not, by combining technological innovation with human accessibility. Only through inclusive design can the digital ID system achieve universal benefit without creating a new class of digitally invisible citizens. Number 9. Bias in biometrics and discrimination risk. As the digital ID rollout incorporates biometric verification such as facial recognition and fingerprint scanning, it introduces complex challenges related to bias and fairness. Multiple academic studies, including recent findings from the University of Cambridge and the Alan Turing Institute, show that biometric algorithms often perform unevenly across demographic groups. For instance, face recognition systems have been found to misidentify people with darker skin tones at rates up to 10 times higher than those with lighter complexions. Such disparities can result in false rejections, forcing individuals to undergo repeated verification or face service denial. These technical biases often stem from limited diversity in training datasets used to develop biometric models. When combined with administrative oversight, they risk perpetuating systemic discrimination within digital systems meant to ensure equality. The potential consequences extend far beyond inconvenience. A misidentified individual could lose access to benefits, healthcare, or even employment verification if errors are not quickly resolved. Research published in the Journal of Digital Ethics in 2025 emphasizes that the lack of appeal mechanisms within digital identity programs can amplify harm for already marginalized groups. Biometric mismatches can be particularly problematic for individuals with disabilities, facial differences, or aging features, which tend to confuse recognition systems. To prevent these issues, experts recommend implementing regular algorithmic audits, public reporting on error rates, and open evaluation of biometric tools before deployment. Ensuring human oversight in verification decisions can further reduce the risk of technological bias turning into real-world injustice. Transparency in how these systems are tested and approved is essential to maintaining fairness across all communities. Addressing bias requires ongoing accountability rather than one-time solutions. The government has committed to establishing an independent ethics board to review biometric performance and ensure inclusivity in design. However, true fairness demands continuous public scrutiny and collaboration with affected communities. Civil rights organizations urge that alternative verification methods, such as secure PIN or document-based checks, remain available for those who experience biometric failures. The goal is not to reject technological progress, but to make it equitable and just. If executed responsibly, the UK's digital ID system could become a model for inclusive digital governance, demonstrating that innovation can coexist with equality and ethical responsibility in the modern identity landscape. Number 10. Public trust, governance, and potential for scandal. The long-term success of the digital ID rollout will depend heavily on how the public perceives its integrity, transparency, and governance. Without confidence in how personal information is managed, even the most advanced technology can fail to gain acceptance. Recent surveys by YouGov in 2025 revealed that more than 60% of UK residents expressed skepticism about who would control and access their data. This doubt is rooted in past technology scandals, such as the Post Office IT failure, which eroded faith in large-scale government digital projects. Establishing clear accountability will therefore be essential. Research from the University of Bath emphasizes that trust in digital systems grows when governance is transparent, oversight is independent, and citizens have straightforward recourse if errors occur. Effective management will require the creation of an autonomous supervisory body, empowered to investigate breaches, enforce penalties, and publish regular public reports. Governance extends beyond data protection. It encompasses how decisions are made, who audits the system, and how citizens are represented. Scholars from the London School of Economics suggest that digital identity frameworks must operate under radical transparency, where all data handling procedures are open to public review. This includes disclosing which organizations have access to identity verification databases and under what legal conditions. Public awareness campaigns and easy-to-understand consent systems can help users make informed decisions about their participation. Oversight should not rely solely on government departments. External watchdogs, civil society groups, and independent academics should all play roles in continuous evaluation. By embedding accountability at every level, the system can demonstrate that it serves citizens first, not administrative convenience or corporate interests. The potential for scandal remains real if transparency falters or oversight fails. A single data breach, unauthorized access, or misuse of biometric information could trigger widespread backlash, undermining the entire program. The government must therefore prioritize early warnings, rapid response mechanisms, and compensation frameworks for affected individuals. Strong governance does more than protect privacy, it builds legitimacy. A trustworthy digital ID system could become a cornerstone of modern civic infrastructure, proving that technological progress and ethical governance can coexist. The challenge now lies in ensuring that progress never outpaces accountability. The digital ID rollout marks one of the most ambitious technological shifts in the UK's modern history. It carries the potential to simplify lives, streamline services, and protect against fraud. But it also presents new challenges that cannot be ignored. Security, fairness, and transparency will define whether this project becomes a national success or another cautionary tale. For many, the promise of instant verification and smoother access to healthcare or employment is revolutionary. Yet for others, especially those at risk of digital exclusion, the change could deepen inequality. The future of this system will depend on how responsibly it is implemented, balancing innovation with human values. Researchers, policymakers, and citizens must work together to ensure the digital identity serves everyone, not just those who are already digitally empowered. Public engagement, independent oversight, and continuous technological improvement will be crucial to building confidence and preventing misuse. If handled with accountability and foresight, the UK's digital ID could become a model for secure, inclusive governance that strengthens, not replaces, the connection between people and public institutions. What do you think about the UK's digital future? Is this the beginning of smarter living or a step toward digital control? Share your thoughts below and let's start the conversation. If you found this breakdown helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more weekly insights on technology, policy, and society. Stay informed, stay aware, and be part of shaping the digital era that's already unfolding around us.